Good evening. We're here at Faith Tabernacle Missionary Baptist Church, and we're excited to present our financial planning seminar on today. Today, our guest is Ms. Camille Franklin Levy. She has been in the financial industry for over 21 years. For the past 2 years, she has worked for Merrill Lynch. And we are so glad to have her with us today. She is a financial advisor and portfolio advisor. She's here to talk to us on financial planning. So glad to have you, Sister Levy. Sister Levy? One second, seem to be having some technical difficulty. Miss Levy. Okay. So we see I'm here. I had just introduced you. And so just wanted to start our conversation. I know you will have to add back on your presentation. When you disconnected, your presentation went out as well. So while you're doing that, Ms. Levy, if you want to just say a couple of words before you start the presentation.
You keep going in and out. I'm sorry. Are you hearing me now?
I can hear you wonderfully. Perfect. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Pastor Ford, for having me this evening. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to your audience on the importance of financial planning. Welcome everyone to Financial Planning. See what's possible with the right perspective. The power of planning, that is important. And let's face it, there are many things that make our financial planning life confusing. To the general, the average person, it can seem confusing. However, based off what is happening in the economy, inflation, taxes can all cloud the real questions that we have about our money and resources. We can all say that based off what is happening today, just generally speaking from an economical perspective, planning is going to play a critical role as we move forward with our financial lives. So there are many questions that we have when it comes to financial planning. And one of the questions is, when should I retire? That's a very important question. Another question is, when should I retire? What legacy do I want to leave for the next generation? What do I want to contribute to charity? So those are important questions that we need to ask ourselves as we go, along our daily journey. And the next slide here, it's an important disclosure that I just want you to take 20 seconds or so to read. And then we want to look at financial planning. So over the next 30 to 45 minutes, we want to take a closer look at why planning is so important to helping you pursue your goals. And together we can make what seems complex more simple by reducing the confusion about your finances. So we will take a closer look at what financial planning could do for you, including a preview of our Merrill Lynch personal wealth analysis. This is our cutting edge tool, planning technology tool that help us to build and document your plan. Finally, we'll stay true to time, and I hope you'll ask questions that I'll be able to address before we close. So let's Let's start with an understanding of what financial planning can do for you and why it's worth the effort. Financial planning should lay out a path for you to manage and grow and preserve your wealth so you can confidently plan for your future. You begin the process by understanding where you are today, by taking a deep dive into the individual aspect of your wealth, including your net worth, your goals, and your current portfolio and progress. You also need to look at life in a highly personal way. So after looking at what you have accomplished financially to date, the next step is to express what you want to accomplish in the future, right? Your financial plan can help you manage current and future goals and understand the impact of financial decision before you make them. For example, let's say you're saving in your 401k plan and you have an emergency situation and you decide, oh, I'm going to take out $2,000 out of my 401k to satisfy an immediate need. That decision could end up being a costly decision in the future because now you're reducing your growth and earning potential. And that is why the impact of financial decision, understanding the impact of financial decision before you make them is very critical. And finally, once in place, a plan is a roadmap to take action. Evaluating and utilizing all of the options available to help you manage your assets and your liability to achieve your goals. If you're going on a trip, a map is important because if you don't have a plan of where you want to go, whether it's in your personal life or your financial life, any road is going to take you there. I also want to touch on a few myths about financial planning that may be holding you back from taking action. So first, many people believe that financial planning always needs to happen at once, and they don't feel prepared to lay out all their future goals at the same time. What they don't know is that you can choose to create a plan that addresses only one goal, such as retirement, or many goals. The choice is up to you. And if you start with one goal, you can add more goal or you can change it over time. Second, financial planning for multiple goals at the same time isn't possible. Again, that's not true. But it certainly seems that way when you have competing goals. So you may be thinking of, I want to send my child to college. So the examples that we have here are real concerns that you may have. So one of the concerns will retirement look like? That's something that we have to look for. So we have here at Merrill our our personal wealth analysis, and that could be one of the goals. So we look at where you are today, we look at where you want to be, and then we build you a plan. Another goal that you may have is, how can I plan for my children's education? That is important. You want to ensure that you do educational planning for your kids, especially the younger ones, so they are not burdened with student loans when they graduate from college. You also another goal, and these are goals that real clients have, is what is the best way to buy a home or vacation property? How can I prepare for the unexpected? When should I start a new business? How can I provide my family and, can I provide for my family and the future generation? So these are goals that we have. And how do we address these goals? We address them by having a financial plan in place. And you can address some of the most pressing questions you face as an investor. But what will your retirement look like, and how you want to, go towards achieving that? So we want to look here at how planning can help you avoid making, expensive emotional decisions. So what we find happen as an investor, you have to invest for the long term. You have to have a long-term perspective. So this is just a graph that is showing you, like, here, this is where everything is doing well. Everybody's happy. The market is up. But then there's a point when the market will eventually go down, because that is what happened when you invest. So the maximum financial risk would take place along this line here. And what you find happening, particularly in COVID, when the market went down, most persons, have these fear. They got anxiety, denial, fear that they're going to lose their money. And then what happened when you reach here, and then there's maximum financial opportunity when the markets start going up, what you find is that most persons are trapped in this cycle here because of anxiety, fear, and fear. What we're saying is that if you have a financial plan, it doesn't matter if the market goes up or down. Your long-term goal will be aligned to that plan. And so we focus on the plan. We don't focus on market fluctuations. And so another one of important. We also want to look and, focusing more on simply, more than just simply having a plan, right? You want to make sure that the plan is going to be aligned to your long-term goal and objective, okay? And this particular slide here is looking and having access. So it's more than just having a plan in place. It's having access to advice and guidance that is grounded on the belief that every financial decision deserves the benefit of a perspective. And that can help to strengthen the planning process. And perspective, as it relates to perspective, let's say you look, and in the future you want to have a plan, for example, to purchase a home. What our personal wealth analysis will do, it will look at where you are today as it relates to that goal. And then if we identify any gaps, we will come up with suggestions as to how you can fill that gap to ensure that you achieve your goal. Here, this is just an example of the Merrill or personal wealth analysis. So basically, this slide here is looking at the first paragraph. The first column here is basically looking at your baseline. So this is where you are today. So for example, your goal, you have, say, 3 goals: to fund your retirement vision, to provide education for your child, or even to purchase a vacation property. We take everything into account. We look on your total asset, we look on your total liabilities, and we use that as the baseline. And then we look and see, what is it you're doing? Do you have a 401k? How much you're saving to that 401k? That is important. And then if there's a shortfall, we will look to say where you are as a percentage today in your goal as to where you want to be. And the objective is for us to come up with strategy to guide you to getting to your goal. Here we want to look at a hypothetical situation where we have 2 persons, Daniel and Diane, who are both 58 and 60. So to help demonstrate personal wealth analysis, let's take a hypothetical look at this couple here. So they are both near retiring. They have done very well for themselves and they want to see how they can realize their retirement dream and feel confident that they can make their saving last through both of their lives. They have a nest egg of, for example, say $1 million, and they desire to have 150,000 in every year in retirement. That's what that's what their goal really are. So basically, they want to retire in 5 years and would like to purchase a vacation home. And in light of what we discussed earlier about, the importance of goal, we assume that they're going to enjoy, their retirement. And longevity is another critical issue in planning because people are living longer today. So these are the goals that they have. And we're looking here at the personal wealth analysis, so it is designed to help you define, the appropriate risk that you are able to take on in achieving your goal. So we have here in the first column here, and if you notice throughout this diagram, what the only thing that changes is the risk. So in the first sample here, if you look here on how their assets are allocated, their goal is to get 150,000 in retirement every year. So it is critical how their assets are allocated. So if you notice in the first graph here, the first column,
Miss Levy, you're breaking up on us again.
In terms of funding their retirement goal, they're taking on more risk. So at the end of their longevity, which is their potential wealth, this is the ending wealth that they would have. And this is important because this is gonna determine, how you fund your legacy. What legacy do you want to leave for the next generation? It could be charity, it could be your church, it could be your kids. So how your assets are allocated is very important. Then we have the second column here, which look on all equity. So for example, if you're in all equity, if you notice what happened here, you have a potential wealth of roughly 1 million. Risk, you're getting more return. But if you look here, what is happening, the downside is also increasing. And then if you look at a moderate, we're having less return compared to the previous one. So basically what this slide is showing you that it is important to ensure that your assets are efficiently allocated so that you'll be able to fund your retirement vision. And it is not just throughout your lifetime, but it is also important, the legacy you want to leave for the next generation. And this is where Merrill Lynch comes in. We can design a plan that is specifically unique to you as an individual. And the plan, we will review it on an annual basis, and that will ensure that you're on track to achieve whatever financial goals that you may have. And then finally, I want to ask if anyone have any question. So first, what question can I answer for you today about financial planning in general? Think about where you are and where you want to be tomorrow. What are your goals, short-term or long-term? Reach out to schedule a time when we can talk about what financial planning can look like for you as an individual. And remember that you can start small. When you work with us, you're in control. You get to choose how you want to experience planning. Whether you want to tackle one pressing need, one pressing goal, or you want to address a range of financial concern, it's up to you. Regardless of the approach you take, we will make it easy, guiding you through the process and doing the heavy lifting. Planning is a collaborative process. Working together, we can build a personalized financial strategy that is aligned to your unique goal and your personal values. We can help you manage, grow, and preserve your wealth today and also consider the impact it can have for years to come. I now ask if there are any questions.
Ms. Levy, so thank you so much for that presentation. Let me ask, what would you say for the person who say that we can't afford, I'd like to do financial planning, but at this time I really can't afford to do financial planning?
So that's a very good question, Pastor Ford. And financial planning is not about affordability. It is having a plan in place. So here at Merrill, we have different platforms that support our clients at different level where they are in their financial journey. So for example, the financial plan that we offer, it's complimentary. We build it out for you. We provide you with the guidance, and we have different platforms here. So for example, we have Merrill Edge, which is a self-directed platform. We have our Merrill Guided. We have working with an advisor like myself. So the most important thing is to get the plan in place, get your goals in place, aggregate all your assets, your liability, look at, if you're efficiently allocated, look at what you're doing and see if it is in line with your long-term goal. So most importantly, it's not affordability, but it is getting that plan solid on paper.
What would you say the first step would be for someone
You break
who
up
really
a while.
Say that again?
You went in and out.
Okay, I was saying, what do you think what would you say is the first step for someone who is on the fence about working with a financial planner, but they know they need to do something? What do you think what would you say that first step would be?
The first step would be getting a clear understanding of your goal. That is important. So it could just be one goal, it could just be two goals. Most persons are on the fence because they're scared that, working with an advisor is going to be costly. No, it's not. Here at Merrill, as I said, we have different platforms. So the first step they need to take is to identify, what are my goals? What am I looking to achieve? Put that on paper. And then you can speak to an advisor to help you to create a roadmap. So the first and most important thing is to identify your goals.
Excellent. Let me just remind everyone that if you would like to ask a question or leave a comment, just type in those questions or comments in the comment section on Facebook and YouTube. And we will answer any questions which we receive. Let me ask you this, Ms. Levy, in terms of, so one of the things you were saying is that there becomes a lot of anxiety when the stock market starts to go down. But that's also the maximum, that's when you can maximize your contributions and your earnings as well. What do you say to that person who may be invested in with some type of program, and they see their statements when it comes in, their money going down?
Okay, and that is a very important question. I get that question every day, and I'm so happy you asked that question because here at Merrill, our philosophy is we never time the market. You can never achieve your financial goal by timing the market. And that is why we have the financial plan. So what the plan look like, for example, if it's a 10-year plan, so you're here today and you want to retire in 10 years, we put a plan in place. We run different scenarios. So we have different probability of success, right? And we have that plan. So whether or not the market goes down, we're sticking with the plan. The reality is that, Pastor Ford, as an investor, the investor have to have a long-term perspective. The stock market has proven to be an edge, edge against inflation over the years. It will fluctuate, but persons have to learn how to ride out the fluctuation because history has shown that the market will invariably rebound. And that is why we don't focus on the market. We focus on the plan that we have. If the market is down today and, a client called me, hey, the market is down, the first question I'm going to ask, is there any changes in your goals? No. Is there any changes in your retirement plan? No. Are you still maintaining the same asset allocation? Yes. So we stick to the plan. We don't focus on the market because focusing on the market derails you and trap you into that cycle in the graph that I show you when the market goes down and people get anxious. And when the market start going up, it creates a fear, so they lose out on growth potential. And that is why we create the plan, we focus on the plan, and we don't watch the market.
All right. So in other words, when you create these plans, you already have in mind that there could be possible dips in the market.
Exactly.
So we should not become as anxious because that's already been planned for.
Exactly. And a critical thing that we focus on here at Merrill, we make sure that the goals that our client have and the strategy align with their risk tolerance. So if someone say that they're moderately conservative or they're moderately aggressive, their long-term goal and their strategy must align first and foremost with their risk tolerance, their investment time horizon, and also what we look at, we just make sure that the goals are aligned to the most important thing, which is their risk tolerance and their investment time horizon.
Talking about risk tolerance, say you have someone who is 20 years old and looking to get into making a financial plan, as opposed to someone who is probably 60, closer to retirement age. What would you tell those two about risk tolerance when investing?
Okay, great question. So for a 20-year-old, and then remember I mentioned before the importance of a long-term perspective when it comes on to investment and you're funding your long-term goal. So a 20-year-old would have more time to invest, right? So invariably, most of my 20-year-old, they're, in an aggressive strategy. And again, it aligns to their risk tolerance because they're young. If the market goes down, they'll be able to rebound, right? A 60-year-old may say, I want to be in a moderately conservative. I'm going to retire in 5 years. I want to retire at 65. That 60-year-old could not be in an aggressive strategy because 5 years' time is not enough time for you to rebound from a market downturn. So So the risk tolerance is critical at where you are in your financial life cycle, how many years you have to retire versus a young person who have enough time on their hand, they can invest in a more aggressive strategy because, if the market goes down, they'll have time to rebound. So for the 20-year-old, they're looking on growth and capital appreciation. For the 60-year-old, they're looking on capital preservation.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, I think this has been a phenomenal conversation. Ms. Levy, thank you so much. Is there anything else you want to leave us with this evening?
My information is here on the slide here. I'm happy, anyone want to take down the information and reach out to me to have a one-on-one conversation. I look forward to having, continued dialogue with you, Pastor Ford, on this platform, because the reality of the situation is that here in America, most persons, they don't have a financial plan. They don't take financial planning, serious. And I have a passion for what I do. And, I'll be happy to partner with you to have this discussion. So if there's an audience that you think that could benefit from financial literacy, for example, we have the Secure Act 2.0 that comes in effect that affects, Social Security. We have the advisor, donor, that there's some changes as it relates to the Secure Act 2.0 for persons who want to open trust for churches and charities. I'll be happy to come on and provide, some information on financial literacy, even Social Security, Medicare, and stuff like that.
Wonderful. There is a question that has popped up. What is a minimum investment one needs to make to create a plan?
So again, it's not a dollar and cent. So it's not like, okay, Pastor Ford, you have 100,000 so you can create a plan. And then another person only have $1,000 so they can't create a plan. It doesn't matter what asset you have. It doesn't matter, what your net worth is. The important thing is to have a plan. After creating the plan, we take everything into account, and we're here to give you guidance. So it's not like a dollar or cent, because you have someone who may have $1,000. They may not be qualified to work with me, but we have Merrill Edge, which is a self-directed platform that they could, invest $1,000 in. So at the end of the day, it's not really dollars and cents that's important. Is creating a plan, designing a plan, looking on the different platform. Because I tell you, here at Merrill, we have 4 different platforms. And if you're not able to do one platform, there's another. So it's not down to the dollars and cents. It's down to getting that plan in place and see how we can help you to create wealth and to build wealth and to build financial independence in the long term.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you again, Ms. Levy, for your time and for this wonderful financial seminar, planning seminar. It was very enlightening, and I hope that there are many who will start considering planning, because there's so much, between retirement and kids, whether someone wants to purchase a house or something or another major big purchase. All that begins with planning and writing out what you would like to see happen. So thank you again. I pray that everyone who has watched on today, that you've taken the time, that you've enjoyed it, that it has been really informational for you. All right. We pray you have a great day.
Thank you so much for having me, Pastor Ford. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.
You do the same. Bye.
Thank you.